Here we go. This is the Montrose skate shop located in Houston. This is one of the main skate shops. The guy inside has some decent prices for some decent pairs of skates. Right here, right next to the Montrose skate shop is the Heights Hike and Bike Trail. And that is where I'm starting off here today. I come here today fully focused and determined to break my record. So far, my record was at 5 minutes and 30 seconds per mile. Just recently, I broke my record in Galveston at 5 minutes and 15 seconds per mile. And then yet, within that 10-minute stretch, I broke it again at 5 minutes and 6 seconds per mile. Records are not very easy to break, especially whenever you are skating at a windy beach with a pair of skates that are not your speed skates. That is downtown Houston up ahead on this Heights Hike and Bike Trail. And from the looks of it, it looks like this hike and bike trail might just go straight into the downtown area. But I was pleasantly surprised to find out that I just come to a dead end. Today on this skating adventure, I have chosen to use my Tour Fishbone Light hockey skates. I have chosen these skates today. These skates do have a flaw that I have recently discovered though. So far, after skating for about 10 minutes, my foot seems to fall asleep on both feet. So far, I've never had a pair of skates do that to me. And what happens when your foot falls asleep? Well, you simply can't feel it. So in some of the areas that I skate, I am extra careful of how I do my strides. There's a certain part of my brain that tells me I should probably stop skating when I can't feel my feet anymore, but the thick-headed part of my brain keeps telling me to keep going. During the middle of this skate, I did stop to check to see what the problem was by taking off my skate to see why my foot was falling asleep, only to find that there was no problem, because my foot is still strapped in with as much room as possible, so the skates are not tight. Maybe it's just the pressure points on the skate. I guess it doesn't really bother me too much anyway, because my skate sessions don't usually last past 20 minutes anyway. It's always nice to get off the bike trail for a little bit. Experimenting with new surfaces. Sometimes bike trails can be long and boring, so it just puts that feel of the urban skating back into you once you get off of it. But when your legs feel weak and tired, then you can get back onto that smooth pavement again. That's really the reason why I like bike trails, is because when you are tired, there's not too many open cracks. Everything's smooth. I guess that's the reason why a lot of people like to skate in the roller rinks in the Houston area. You don't see too many inline skaters on the streets. You go to a roller rink, it's so congested in there, it's hard to move. And then the question pops in your head, and I'm paying for this? But the streets are free. Why not skate there? Parks are always beautiful. So here is that dead end I was telling you about. I think I just end up in a parking lot. This broad and spacious sidewalk turns into a narrow sidewalk. Not sure of where I should go. I continue on. I cut through a couple of parking lots and get back onto the bike trail. Peripheral vision is a very important factor whenever you are crossing the sidewalk, across private driveways. It is very important simply because of the fact that you never know when you're going with traffic if a car is going to turn into that private driveway or not. So it's always good to kind of tilt your head to the side and check. Live to skate another day. I have had cars stop for me right in the road before, but I simply just wait there and let them pass on. You never know when they're gonna decide to change their mind and go. That is just Houston traffic for you. Or as some people refer to us as Houstonians. Interesting name. Sounds upbeat, like it's so bright and positive. So after cutting my way through the parking lot, I have found myself back to the bike trail. A question that I am frequently asked is, when do I rotate my wheels? Well, to answer that question, it is time to rotate your wheels when you feel your foot slipping. You will notice that you are not going to have the same grip as you would in a quick takeoff maneuver. If your foot slips to the side, then it's probably best to get to a stopping point and sit down and analyze your wheel to make sure that the rubber is still intact. There has been times where I have sat down to check my wheels to make sure everything is okay. I thought it was just a simple rotation, but it turns out that I needed a brand new wheel actually, because there was chunks of rubber missing out of my wheel. Good to know that there are friendly dogs out there that do not want to eat me alive. That, my friend, was a close one. Got to be more careful. So I am just helping y'all appreciate this wall or this trash. I guess that's how it is here in Montrose. They definitely need to clean the area up. So here I am again looking for trouble. I have exited the safe path of the bike trail, getting onto the roads of oncoming traffic, back and forth, looking for new areas to explore, new missions. It's very weird how after doing all this you'll be very good at directions, and you'll know streets that you haven't ever been to before. Right here I did a dummy move where I quickly skated to the top of the incline when I should have skated downward down the incline. So now it's too steep to skate down without actually hitting the traffic. So I decide to skate back because it's not worth my life. Baby steps. And as I head back, I kind of do some crossovers on this hill. Quick turn, head for the sidewalk, and continue on the down incline. The only problem with down inclines like this is sometimes the sidewalk can quickly end. In this situation, that is exactly what happened. The sidewalk came to an end and nothing but rough rocks were straight ahead, so I had to come to an emergency stop. Power slide would have sent me grinding on the rocks. So the safest stop for me at that point was a drag stop. Stepping through grass is also a good way to stop. So I head back from this unfortunate tragedy, skate uphill, and head back to the place where I know it is safest. Of course, which is the bike trail. At this point, my feet are going quite numb right now because of the skates. So that's another reason why I did not descend the decline. I didn't feel comfortable in these skates. In another pair of skates, such as my Bauer Vapor inline hockey skates, I probably would have done it. Easiest way that I can describe these tour hockey skates is that of if you were to have a car with tires straight down the middle and not on the sides. That's how these skates feel. That you can easily rock side from side and scrape the edges. I feel the boot is much too wide for inline. So now, as I skate back to the bike trail, I'm going to transition into some music. Standing in the grass or standing at a T or V would be a good way to hold yourself upright so that you don't fall over whenever you are stopping. Right here, I am putting my foot against the curb. I find that this is a good technique so that your foot will not slide from underneath you, as long as when you take back off again you do not trip over the curb. Right now I am slightly off the Heights hike and bike trail, but it looks like they are continuing to build on it and add more to it. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Or maybe I did. Learning to stop is key. Stopping on a dime is better. Sometimes we may try to stop and we have to take a couple of steps before we can actually stop because we don't want to lose our balance. But as long as you successfully stop, you should be okay. Sometimes you may not have the time to do a power slide efficiently and effectively because of the cracks in the pavement. So just stopping merely using drag stops on both feet can also be just as effective as a power slide. I do have a video where I done nothing but practicing how to power slide, and I have found out that it takes me about half the time to stop using the power slide as it does trying to drag stop. Check it out. I'm not the only inline skater. So back to power sliding. It takes me about 2 seconds to stop whenever I do a power slide versus a drag stop, which takes me about 4 seconds. In an emergency situation, I'm more likely to do my drag stop simply because I think it is safer. The power slide, there's more preparation involved with that. Usually whenever I perform my power slides, I am prepared to perform them. If you were to see an incoming obstacle in front of you, such as a car, I'm not going to perform a power slide simply because tragic results can happen. The best thing to do in that situation for me would be to just turn altogether and not stop at all. Although the power slide can be very effective, power sliding to me is more of a show of one's skill and talent. Here I go again, exiting the bike trail, not knowing what's ahead of me. This neighborhood doesn't look like it has dogs wandering around, so there's no need or use for my air horn. At this point of the skate, I'm getting more tired and my bursts of energy are getting slower and more sluggish. Trying to do tricks and maneuvers such as jumping over obstacles and doing things while you're tired and exhausted is probably an injury waiting to happen. So it's best to go ahead and kind of cool off, slow down, and kind of recover. That way you can have more bursts of energy so that you can speed back up again. Well, I appreciate y'all for watching. Thank you very much. I am going to leave this video off to some music now to play out through the rest of the video. I want all of y'all to have an awesome day.